I honestly think that right now donating to charity in lieu of gifts is, so what I do, and hi Susanna, hello. What I do is, and I just started this a few months ago, so at the beginning of every month, I will announce on social media, or I'll, just say, hey, in lieu of gifts, whatever, we had this many closings and this is what we donated. And I always pick one charity. And then I also, in my closing emails, so every Monday, we send a closing email to everybody that closed last week, all the clients. And it has, in fact, let me show it to y'all. It has a few, I'll share screen in a second. It has a few details like, let me just put it in here really quick so I can show it. Like, hey, don't forget to change your driver's license, right? Like some of the little post-closing stuff that y'all want to do. So I would encourage you, and you could translate that, Jennifer, to finance, right? Like after they become a new client or after you have a meeting, the quarterly meeting or whatever, like, hey, here's a couple of steps of what you can do. I'm a bullet point person. Like when my Ameriprise person sends to me and it's this huge paragraph of all this writing and stuff, I personally glaze over. Like I do not like a bunch of words. I don't know how other people are, but I'm just like, give me the bullet points of what I need to do and let me be done with it, So I'm just kind of that kind of person. Okay, so I'm going to share this with you. Share screen. Okay, so this is my closing email, and I link in there. So the very first thing that I say is, in lieu of closing gifts, I'm making a donation. And I mean, no one's complained, right? But one guy even replied and said, oh my gosh, I want to match your donation. Where, can you get me the details? I was like, sure. So I do a dollar amount per closing. Because I mean, if you think about it, and
you, I mean, you don't, did you just say a donation? You're not saying like X number of dollars. Yeah.
I'm not going to say, oh, I donated $35. Yeah. I'll probably, since I don't know yet, since I'm doing the email weekly, because I want it to be fresh from when they closed and had the transaction with us. I don't know yet how many closings we've done that month. But I think that they're fine. I mean, I don't really say, because, when you give people a gift, they don't really know how much it is, right?
Yeah.
So I'm really enjoying this. It's simpler, because before what we were doing is we were doing Loop and Tie with a gifting service. They're out of Austin, I think, but it's super simple. Like if you don't have a bunch of people to execute this stuff, basically it's like a little thank you. You send them, you determine the monetary amount. Like I think we used to do $35, and they don't know how much you've spent, but they get like 20 choices of things that they can choose from. But honestly, because it also includes them packaging it and whatever, I feel like the things that were $35 were kind of, I don't know, the quality of them or what they could get wasn't something plentiful. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, well, it's like more clutter. It's more along the clutter lines. Like, oh, let me get the thing of the candles or get I just like the idea. I've been liking the idea of the donation. So FYI, maybe this year being more charitable because of, Jennifer, what's going on. I think that people, if we're showing them that we're being more charitable, I don't think, like if I got something from Joe, my guy, and said, hey, instead of giving you something, we're giving it to charity, I'd be, that's amazing. Like that's perfect. I think people would really think that was really super thoughtful, because there's so many people in need right now.
So along those lines, because of COVID, I mean, could we like brainstorm with like what would be appropriate like charities as opposed to like the ballet guild, I mean?
So I did after the hurricane, I did this Hands and Hearts place. So I'm going to change my email monthly. Usually I'm Nancy Owens Breast Cancer Foundation. My sister died of cancer and I've been super passionate about it. So that's just my, I'm also going to do, I'm also this month I'm gonna split it between Nancy Owens and Cornerstone Ministries local. It's one of my top business friends is really involved in it, and he asked me for money. I was like, sure. And they help kids in underserved areas, like after school programs and stuff to keep them from doing bad things. Right. And so I'm, maybe find a couple local charities is what I would do that does something to help the community, or the food bank is always a good go-to. I really like West Houston Ministries. Oh my God, if y'all have not ever volunteered there, that is my favorite. It's right over here by Beltway 8, right near my office, right in the West Chase area. But oh my God, they have like a little pantry. It's almost like a little mini HEB where people come from all over the city to get food. Like, it's amazing. And so so you could go there and volunteer. I know it's hard with COVID, but I'm sure they have masks on, but just donating to them, they would so appreciate it. So find a few places like that. And I think letting your clients know that you are supporting the community, I think that it's amazing. And I don't think people really expect a gift. And I don't think, so over the years, I've always done a gift, but I don't feel like I'm getting any more referrals because of it.
Right.
I mean, it's just my own personal thing that I've chosen to do. I do want to show them that I'm appreciative for sure. And I love the donation idea. Like, I'm really rolling with it. So then I do have some ideas, and Glenda and Susanna, hello. If y'all have questions, just you can chat or unmute yourself or whatever. I am recording this as well. Let me go ahead and show y'all just a couple of things that might spark your just your ideas to ask me, because I know that many of you see that I do several things.
While you're doing that, Jennifer, the other Jennifer mentioned about the Christmas ornaments, which I thought was a clever idea. But, how do you manage delivering those when, they may not be home or they're on vacation? You call before, I'm going to drop this on your desk, because you don't want somebody to pick up a, $80 gift.
Yeah, right. I would call them before. So we have some college, in fact, Michelle's college student, Grant, loves to deliver for us. So I pay our high schooler and college kids $10 an hour, and they love it. I mean, I'm PayPal happy. Like, let me tell you, I'm like, Aunt Jennifer is paying you $10 an hour. And so I do that. So I employ kids, young adult children of my team members, or some friends or cousins or nieces or nephews or whatever that can drive, of course. But right. We call ahead of time and make sure that they're going to be home. For holidays, I would definitely try to deliver them early before. I mean, I don't think a ton of people are going out of town, but you never know. I mean, people might go to the woods or, some remote places. So I think that calling ahead of time and delivering a couple weeks ahead of time would be great. I think a holiday pie is a good idea, because I think everybody, no matter what religion they are, like an ornament is still religious, right? So I think that a pie is something, I mean, everyone celebrates something pretty much in this time. And if not, we'll just
You don't need an excuse to eat pie.
Well, exactly. Good company has a really, I think it's less than $20, and it's their pecan pie, and it comes in a really nice box. I've done that before. And you can, just make sure that they're going to be home. Like, hey, we're going to be delivering this. It's going to arrive approximately at this time. And I just want y'all to know how special you are to me. And can you tell me if you're not going to be there?
To follow up with that, Rachel, so two-part answer on that question. So whenever we're ordering an ornament, for example, and I will preface this by saying we are very adamant about knowing your client. So KYC, right? Know your client. Obviously, we are not going to send an ornament or anything faith-based. We try and steer clear of that anyway, that and political affiliation, because obviously anything with that can just, it's just too risky. You don't want to do that. But we are very much aware of the clients that we send these specific gifts to. But as far as like calling ahead and things like that, we just send it via UPS, and it's tracked. And most of the time we don't require a signature, just because it's just not necessary. But we just send it via UPS.
Got it.
Yeah, that's really good input. That's really good input. Well, you all know me, but Jennifer, I don't think I know you as much but loan officer. I've been doing this 25 years, and I've just always been a really big gifter. That's just how I roll. I'm just super, and some of the things that we can do, I was going to give y'all some ideas, don't have to cost a lot of money. Because I mean, when you start adding up different milestones in your process, it can really super add up. And so I think that also, the clients and referral partners, I'll tell you one thing that I've always done. I write handwritten thank you notes to everybody that refers us. And I do put a little item, Rachel knows this. I do put a little item of swag. I call it swag, but things that can fit in an envelope, like an eyeglass, eye cloth cleaner 1 month. Now Michelle, we're on the finger, those finger pointy things. Now with COVID, like the pointers where you put it on your index finger and you like.
Yeah, the touchless plastic ones.
Yeah. We've done cell phone wallets. So I find items that really are useful, not junky. Because I actually for me, I really like that stuff if I get it. And like the jar opener, OMG, like everyone needs a jar opener, especially when you're going to a new house, jar opener. It's like, that's something that people will use. And it just got my little it's just got your name on it. I think there's certain things that are tasteful that are good just for branding, right? And then for me, it's not against RESPA, because also I have to be careful when I give people stuff. If I can be over a certain dollar limit if it's got my name on it, because it's advertising. I mean, it is, right? So that's part of what I do. But I send a handwritten note to everybody that refers me. So every client that refers you, or someone else, a business person, whoever, if someone refers you, like I just wrote a note to a realtor that referred me to a banker that needs a trusted person to send deals to. So I wrote her a thank you note, so I make sure whether I close that transaction or not, it doesn't matter. I thank the person no matter what. And I've always done that. And so that's one thing, showing people that you care, gifting. I mean, just a handwritten note is just, I classify that in that category. I think also just the first things first, what I wanted to show y'all, and just ping me on the side if you want to get a copy of this, or I guess when I send y'all the email, I'll send the link. But just something as simple as just putting it on a calendar. Like some stuff, monthly obviously would be, every single month would be HW note to the thank yous. But maybe twice a year you send the swag, like to all your clients, or in December, right? You're going to do the pie to your top 50, or like try to be detailed about what segment of your database. Because some people might get something like a handwritten note or something once a year. And then there might be some people that are your more key clientele, a builder, an investor, or Jennifer, even in the financial industry, you might have accountants or other people that, are plentiful.
Clients, clients who give referrals. I mean, there's all sorts of, and I'm sure you have those as well, all of you,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but there's some clients only refer once a year, but then there's some others that are like multiple referrers. So you might have a grouping of people that are more frequent, right?
Absolutely.
So I would say definitely put it on a calendar and map it out. And then it just, there's some stuff that I do that's only odd months I do this, or even months I do this, kind of a thing. I have some inventory. This is not my closet. This is an actual realtor that I know that has this. But on the bottom shelf, you can notice there's some candles, there's some bags ready to go. Just depending on how many you're doing, right? Or maybe you share space with someone, or even if your space is a fourth of this size, have a few things ready to go, because sometimes you need to have some small things, you know, just ready to go when you're going to meet a big account or a big potential client or something. I used to have, I don't now, right now, but I used to have on hand these little books called 100 Interesting Facts About the US Constitution. They're like $4.95 on Amazon. And when I was more in the acquisition of accounts mode, when I'd be like, okay, I'm just gonna fly out and see a realtor, and I would have these on hand, it's just like a conversation starter, okay? So there are some things that you can get that people like, those little quote books, you know, like they like to have them hanging around, or bathroom books or whatever. So those are some little creative things that I've done in the past as well. So you want to have an area, whether it's in your house or your office or wherever, I think, to have some things on hand and pre-done. Like this person obviously has some closing baskets that they were giving, you know, ready to go. So that could be cool. This is something that we recently did. Rachel got this. So about once a quarter, so my top realtor accounts, once a quarter, I'm giving them something fun like this. So Michelle and I came up with, you know, kind of an I miss you concept, because we're not really seeing people as much, really. I mean, on Zoom, but not, you know, we're not hugging each other and all that. So we put all these little things in this tote bag, and then each of the little things that was in the tote bag had a little saying. So Rachel's kids used my piñata for their teddy bear birthday party. I am so heartwarmed by that whole episode. I can't even tell you. They strung my piñata, this little mini piñata we got on Amazon, across the living room, and that's just so cute.
They had
but you can just, yeah, you can just see, and I'm going to send this to y'all. I'll send y'all the PowerPoint, but you can just see, like, sometimes a little bit of cheese goes a long way. And so in there, I had several of my swag items that I had on hand, in fact, that I needed to use. So, and then a couple other things, I try to support local business. So like the candle was a friend that has a roasting coffee company called Azúcar Loca here in town, and I want to support him, and he has this cafecito candle, and I'm like, oh my God, we need this. It's a candle that smells like coffee. The jerky was from a local person. So I'm trying to also support local businesses. So when y'all are doing stuff, if it's like I call it a cheesy, fun, something that's totally random. I mean, I didn't have to send that to Rachel, but I wanted her to know that I was just thinking about her, you know? And so sometimes it's just stuff to warm people's heart, and I call it the cheese, like the cheesy stuff. So this is an example of that, okay? I can tell you that the tote bags has been really good to have on hand. I did order quite a few of those a while ago. Some of the tote bags I have are like if you see on the bottom right of this, it's kind of a cream color. Those are kind of like the grocery store ones that are real, they were so super cheap, like literally like $1 a piece, just to have on hand to give people. And then there's some more, I mean, I think that everybody loves a good tote. And so delivering something, you know, if you are going to deliver something to their door or whatever, like we're thinking of that for Christmas, is doing some things where we're also going to use a tote and put a couple other things in there. So, you know, they can come in handy quite a bit, because everyone needs a good tote. I think that's another useful item. Like if you're going to put your brand, you know, your name brand on something, have it be super useful. So I think the totes are really useful. You mentioned the knives, the Cutco. I used to do those, Rachel, and I think I did have someone call me one time about that and say, yeah, I've had your knife for 10 years or whatever. I think that that's actually a really good one. If you're gonna do it, it's just Cutco gets really expensive. I mean, that little piece with the 2 knives is like $100. So I would always split it so that it's like a $50 price point, but still it's a lot. I mean, it's a lot. So I got away from that because like I said, depending on how many accounts you have, I think number one, it's important that you do streamline whatever you do it consistently and the same for everybody, because there's nothing worse than giving one client a Cutco knife and they refer you a friend and they talk and they're like, oh yeah, I got a t-shirt and then, or a glass of wine or whatever. And they're like, well, I got a Cutco knife. And they're like, I didn't get that. Like, you're going to get yourself in trouble. Okay. So, I've got it, this page right here, and again, I'm going to send this to you, has some really good ideas, and I got this from a realtor, okay, of just some things for the buyer and the seller that you could do to like hand them at the first meeting, like the chocolate business card. I like that idea. Bringing coloring books for the kids. You can get some coloring books or some books about moving day, what do I see there? Max Moving Adventure. So there's some little things, moving labels, like stuff like that. Like, I think throughout the process, I wouldn't give these things to clients that are just not under contract yet. But maybe once like, for example, once their loan's been approved, you could give them something. You could make a deal with a local moving company to have like a little care package that's delivered to their door of some boxes and some tape and some moving labels. I think that's appreciative. So whatever you are going to do, and again, this stuff really adds up. So you have to, like, every year I reevaluate what I'm doing and what I'm not doing, and then kind of go from there. So I will send this to you that's got kind of buyer and seller, and Jennifer, this will spark some ideas for you, just as you, in your milestone business plan. This is kind of geared towards realtors, but it's easily translatable. I'll tell you right now what I do, something that we've had a good success with is, so when they make loan application, like just the credit application, we send everybody a handwritten note, and I put a lotto ticket in it. I mean, a lotto ticket is $1, so it doesn't cost me a lot. But if they took the time to make application with us, that's like one foot in the door, right? To hopefully doing something with them later on. So we give them $1 lotto ticket and a handwritten note that just, hey, we're so honored that you took a chance with us. Here's some good luck. I mean, it's just something to let them know that we're thinking of them. And then when they're under contract, I wait about a week to make sure inspections don't fall through. But a week after they get under contract, we send them it's called Send Out Cards. It's a service that you can upload pictures, and I upload, you can make your own card. So we upload a picture of the house they're going to buy and say, we're so thrilled to be welcome to your new home. We're so thrilled to be helping you, blah, blah, blah. And it's got the picture of the house. And so they'll get it kind of midway through the transaction. So we've got some good comments about that they really like it. Just some other ideas, like there's somebody that I know that does this Send Out Cards thing way better than I do. And he's in a different business. He does disc testing. Every time I'm going to hire somebody, I always do a disc test through him. But he, as his thank you, or if he ever talks to me, I always get within about a week a Send Out card where he's gone to my Facebook page, because we're friends on Facebook, and he pulls a picture of something that he knows is important to me or something that's happened in my life. And he writes me a note like, hey, it was so great to see your success with your kids' game or whatever. Like, he's so thoughtful. So to know that he went to Facebook, grabbed a picture from my page of something that happened to me and sent it, to me, that's super personalized and super thoughtful. I mean, I wish I was that organized. I am not. Michelle, if you could remind me, I think that's one thing that we could do to step up our game, actually. That would be helpful. But so send out cards is a good way to also, I think Jennifer, you mentioned, or Rachel, you were asking, like, how do I personalize stuff? I think sending them a picture postcard with a little something note, like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you, or happy birthday, or whatever. I think that that's super special, and it doesn't cost a lot, and it's the thought that I think really counts. So send out cards.
Is that a website, were you saying?
I think it's just send out cards.
Okay.
Just send out, yeah. And you have to have at least, there's at least a minimum per month. Like you have to have I don't know, I think I'm like $75 a month or something. That gives you a certain amount, and they mail it for you and everything. Like, it's super turnkey.
Wow. What about the homeowner's portfolio? Is that a certain company that has like divider?
Yeah, there's a company that used to do that. I stopped doing it because most people are not taking paper now.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
I would be careful about that. But back in the day, yeah, I was giving that to clients. I think everybody is so much more not, I don't want to keep this kind of stuff. But yeah, and I don't know what the title companies are doing, all these drive-by closings and all this stuff, but it might be a nice thing to make sure that they know that they really need to keep onto like homeowners policy, the deed when you get it. I mean, it actually might be a nice thing because I've had to look for those things and I'm like, where is it? It would be nice to still have that in there. And then, so handwritten note, we talked about that. So think about the times in your process of sale, as people get through your transaction. So I do it initially. I do it via that postcard picture of their house so they get excited. Midway, we do that. And then we've been sending a postcard. So Vista Print is a really economical, we have found we've done printing stuff with them and it's been really economical. And we send a postcard. So I showed you that email that I send, but we also send a postcard asking them to review us. And so it's got pictures of like with arrows of like where to go on my Google page or whatever. So again, I know we're talking about gifting, but I just think that keeping people organized also, like that email that I send, that's kind of like a gift. Like gifting doesn't have to be this big, huge monetary thing with a bow on it. Like I think just attention and fine tuning your process, and just pick, if it was me, because it's taken me time to get this stuff really turnkey, just pick one or two parts of the process that you want to really hone in on and do consistently. And then when that's easy and you're like, okay, now I'm ready to add something else, and then just add something else.
Jennifer, I like what you said about keeping consistent because the, clients talk, especially when they were referred. At the same time, I kind of wonder, the client who spent $2 million, maybe I should have like a painting of their house done that's going to cost $200, or the client who spent $300,000, I'll get them a candle. I mean, but you can't do that.
I mean, I'm with you. I just, I know that that's how we feel because the size of the transaction, obviously the commission's bigger, right? So the bigger the transaction, but I also think that you could get away with that with the donation where you just say, hey, we've made donation. And I don't think people really expect that. There might be some that do, and they're like, oh, she didn't get me a gift. She didn't get me anything. Like, I know the thing is you're never going to win ever. So I think that maybe talk to some other, realtors about it. But again, then you've got a client that gets some big, huge gift. And then you've got another that might find out and they're like, oh, great. I only got I only got a Cutco knife. I didn't get that big, huge, you know, I think finding a way to neutralize everything, and it's just a process, and you're in the process, and we've written you this thank you note, and we've sent you this card with the picture, we're showing you. And I think that awesome service and turnkey service is the best gift that you can give anybody.
Right.
Honestly. And so, I mean, do I really want the clients that expect me to get them the large, huge, whatever after closing? Like I said, you go to attorneys and doctors and all that, you know, they make a lot of money.
Yeah.
I've never gotten a gift from any of those people.
Right.
I mean, do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, you know, just something to think about. Charity, again, we're talking about donating to charity, sharing with them like, hey, this is what we're doing. You could maybe share pictures or, you know, a video or something from the charity that you're donating to. That's also a reason to keep in touch with them maybe a month later, like, hey, just want to follow up this charity. This is some news. We, you know, donated to them last month on your behalf, blah, blah, blah. So that's always super fun. These are just some other examples. And again, I'm going to send this to you, but, you know, maybe on referrals, you can announce a referral program, like a campaign, like to your clients, like, hey, the first referral that you send to us, we are going to give you a gift card of this amount. The second referral, we're going to give you this. Like, announce it. Like, everybody loves competition. Everybody, I mean, like, announce, and then that way it's set in stone and everybody gets the same thing. You could do something like that. Annual events, you know, having a couple biannual events, having a quarterly happy hour to thank the borrowers from the month before, from, you know, the last quarter. That's also kind of a way of gifting. And then just some, you know, down at the bottom, I have some other little miscellaneous items. Like I said, we, you know, just, you can get with a promo person, and we'll send that to you too. We have a good promo person that we really like. So we'll send you her name and number when I send y'all this video. And it's good to have that kind of stuff on hand. Like when I talked about the inventory, so I space it out so that I'm not getting a bunch of inventory at one time, like, because I want the cost to be, you know, this month. So like maybe every quarter we order stuff so that we have it on hand is what we do. Is what we do. So that's really, I mean, that's really all I have. I just wanted to get y'all's mind going and ideas. And is there anything, you know, that you think we didn't cover or that you'll have questions about?
I have a question on, I love the charity idea. I think that's great. Personally, I'm always skeptical when I see things like that. So
Yeah.
my question is, and I know I'm not the only one, but my question is, how do you go about, like, outside of an email? Because if we're talking about for like a Christmas, in lieu of a Christmas gift or offering whatever, how do you make it known that, what are some ideas to make it known that you did donate to a charity?
You
on
did do
behalf
it.
of these?
I mean, you could,
Well, Jen, what we'll do is at the beginning of the month, we'll put it on social media that we helped 40 families last month and we donated $1,000 to Breast Cancer Foundation in honor.
well, but I know what she's saying, just to make sure that you did it and that you're not just saying that you did it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I mean, you could have, I mean, maybe you could work with the charity to get a receipt that's sent to the homeowner for $100 or $50 or whatever, saying, you know, thank you on your behalf, we received this donation.
Yeah, that's what I've experienced, is that you can have the charity send a card to the people that you donated for or on behalf of. And so they get that separately. And I don't know that it has to have the amount on there, but that they received a donation on their behalf.
Yeah, you could do that. You could also have the charity make a video to just for credibility, because I think that's where you're kind of going. You could have, you know, the charity do a quick video about, you know, hey, we just want to thank, you know, Ameriprise, you know, we want to thank Jennifer with Ameriprise or Rachel with the Greenwood King or whatever for, you know, donating this month, for the month of May or whatever, we're just so appreciative and this is how we're going to spend that money. And then you could send that out as a follow-up to the clients. And like I said, you could put in your, your method on your calendar of stuff that you're going to do is maybe a quarter later. Oh, in fact, Michelle, I'm having my best ideas on this call. I'm just writing all this down. I just want to tell you, because I think that we should send quarterly a video from the charity and have a reason to email the people that we closed over the last quarter. Michelle, we have to do that. We have to do a quarterly video to the people that closed for the last quarter with a charity update. That's what we're going to do. Yeah. Yep. That's exactly what we're going to do. So I think that Jennifer would cover it, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think if you make a routine about it and then you just share share it out there, put it out there. I know with financial services, you have to be careful with social media and stuff, what y'all put out there, but.
Right. There's definitely some strict rules and regulations. But nonetheless, I do like the idea of touching base a month later or so, mainly because that goes along with the whole wow experience that we like to provide our clients. So it's about touching base, seeing what's going on and following up and, getting our name in there. And that ideally is how you get referrals and remembrance and whatnot. So,
yeah, I think if people see often that you're really a person that's showing genuine, care for people, I think there's going to be people that gravitate to that. To some people it may not matter, and are those really the people that you want to deal with? Probably not, right? So just like refer me more people just like you. So yeah, I think I think those ideas can get the word out.
That's also really helpful. I was just thinking, because with COVID, we can't attend the inspections with our clients. And so, sometimes you don't know if they're moving in right away or waiting for renovations. And so it's just not something that you physically have to give to them while they're in the middle of trying to move. So I think all of the reasons together as well.
You can also have, if you know that their moving day is XYZ, you can make sure that they eat pizza. I don't know who doesn't, but some people don't. And you can have either sandwiches or pizza or whatever delivered to them. You could do that as well. Yeah, you could do that as well. I did that as I'm sorry to a client that we closed a day or so late. And I, there was a little scrambling at the end, and I just said, hey, listen, I really want to, feed all y'all. And I'm just telling you, they loved it. They wanted steak from Outback. And I'm like, all right, let's do it.
When we employed our young adults.
For like 7 or 8 people. But you know what? I was like, yeah, this is great. No problem. This is my I'm sorry gift, So you also have to have your I'm sorry campaign. Nothing like food for that. Or fresh baked cookies from Tips Treats or whatever. So you just have to use your instinct on a lot of this stuff. But I think if y'all can work on and just really map out for next year some of the repetitive monthly, quarterly, biannually things that you want to do. And if you just think of it strategically that way, monthly, quarterly, biannually, who would that cover? Right. It's going to cover your most important people. Because honestly, as you amass all these past clients, let's be real, you have a top 50. Okay, like you have a top grouping, and so put them in that category. I have a group called Top 50 Past Clients. I have a group called Top 40 Realtors. I have a group called Top 40, I call it VIP, but it's my top 40 business people. So of my whole database, I have these 3 segmented, really the top 150 pretty much, that now I don't do gifts to all of them all the time. You have to just segment who you're going to send stuff to. But what I'm saying is have a method for identifying who your top relationships are. And then it's easy to execute the list from there. Super easy. There's like no emotion in it. You're on the list, you get this whatever.
Yeah.
And just be, try to be more strategic about it. And, again, as down to the little details, just the handwritten note. Like, it doesn't have to cost a bunch of money. And I think it's the smart thing to do to make sure that it doesn't cost a lot of money, because you want to spend also money as your business grows, spending money on team and people to help you execute this stuff is part of this whole experience. And that's important too.
So Jennifer, I was just thinking, I was like, maybe I'll do a charitable donation for Christmas gifts this year, but then you wouldn't want to do a charitable donation for someone who's closing October, November, December, as well as that's their Christmas gift, I guess.
I mean, you could just say, look, I mean, I've just decided, and just, there's so many people struggling in lieu, I know we did this as also a closing gift, but guess what? We're doing it for Christmas too. I mean, I don't think people are gonna, or do a bunch of toys for tots. Like, I'm gonna donate to this teddy bear campaign thing that one of my team members' uncle is doing with Katy ISD school district,
Right.
So like, just find something and get pictures of it and send it. Like, put it on a piece of paper and do a letter of the heart and be like, instead of Christmas this year, this is what we're doing.
Right.
Merry Christmas, like, happy holidays right here. I don't think anyone's going to think anything of it. And I think that I'm with you. Like, I overthink about this stuff too much because I want to be super generous and thoughtful. And then I'm like, Jennifer, like, keeping it simple is super important too.
Well, right. And then you don't have to get somebody to deliver it, waste money with packaging. And
Yeah. I do like, for like some of the offices that I want to recognize, like sometimes there's businesses like my CPA or my hairdresser. I like the Wine Country gift baskets. You can spend like $20 to $30 and it's like that tower of candy or whatever. Everybody always loves that stuff that they can enjoy throughout the holiday. I love it when they deliver it to my office. I'm like, yeah, I know that every year someone's going to deliver it. So I'm like, all right. So there's different people or different types of, like, if you're delivering to a group and they're just going to put it in the kitchen or whatever. But now with COVID, like you said, it might be a little bit different. But yeah.
Great.
Well, thanks for joining, guys. I was going to start to wrap it up here soon. Oh, we do have one chat question. Oh, actually, I just need to tell you, we are hosting a virtual event this Saturday. Actually, we've invited all of our past clients and, realtors, and all of y'all are welcome as well. And this is an idea for y'all, for your clients. So it's a former FBI agent, and he's talking about cyber security from 11 to 12. So we're doing a big Zoom, webinar. So we'll send you the information if y'all want to register for that. Yeah, I have everyone's email on here, but Jennifer, do you mind putting your email in the chat to make sure I've got your info? That'd be great.
Let's see.
Jennifer, I've got to go. Thank you so much for this.
Yes, thank you, Rachel. And I see you had some others on. Yeah, I've got everyone's email here except Jennifer, I think.
Legacy Mutual Mortgage is an equal housing opportunity lender. The opinions expressed here do not reflect those of Legacy Mutual Mortgage.